See what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words.
What's going on, everybody? YL from Rebel Ears here again, and as you can see, I am dealing with a nice, beautiful jazz band, 5-piece band. We got this lead singer Deb, we got some keys, we got a bass, a stand-up bass as well, like an actual orchestral bass. We have a saxophonist, and we have a drummer. So right now, you're kind of watching me just go back in and change the name of some of these microphones. We got a stage plot. It was a slightly different than what they wanted when they got there. So I had to make some changes, but you're seeing me change the keyboard microphones from top to bottom to lows and high. So we mic the bottom of the keyboard, which got the low end, and we got the high end as well with another microphone. All right, so real easy, man. I'm showing you guys the EQ for the low end of the keys and then the EQ for the high end of the keys. For the low end, we use the SM57. For the high end, we use the nice condenser mic. And this is the vocal mic, which is the SM58. We're ducking out right here at our 500, about 100 to 500 on that saxophone. We like to let those high mids and those mids really live with that saxophone. Flute, of course, we're taking out some lows. As you can see, that stand-up bass, we're taking out a little bit of lows, rolling it off because I have it hitting the subs so hard. I have 4 subs in this building right now, 6 tops. All right, so as you can see, the kick, I'm not really doing much. I have a kick drum mic, large diaphragm mic. We stuck it right inside the kick. This is a jazz band, so we didn't need a lot of boom, but the kick is only going to the subs, so it is booming, as you can hear. And as you can see, I'm putting a little reverb on the vocals. I'm putting some reverb on the saxophonist. I'm putting a little bit of reverb on the bass. So this is one of the reverbs that I'm using. And as you can see, I'm telling you guys that I'm putting that on my vocals. I'm also putting it on that same reverb is on the saxophone and the flute. All right. So vocals and saxophone, vocals and horns or winds, I put on the same reverb, because vocals and winds, especially in these jazz bands, when these saxophonists come through and different things like that, they take the place of the vocals a lot of the times. So affecting the reverb and then just individually moving the sends up and down for those individual instruments, including the vocals as well. So we have a room reverb, we have a hall reverb. So the hall reverb is for vocals and winds. The room reverb is more so for my overheads on my drums, is for my bass, and we might actually put a little keys in there as well. I'm really excited to show you all, kind of how I do with a band. It's a lot different from corporate to band. These are all of my different outputs. As you can see, we have 2 IEMs, we have 3 monitors for the band, and then of course I have front fields and subs as well. So as you can see, I have a drum set up, not really a lot, but I'm showing you guys the Rio is right behind the drum set. So this is my stage box. Of course, I always talk about how we run a Cat 6 cable. This is our digital snake. I no longer have to run a bunch of cables to the stage. This is just my stage box, and I'm showing you guys the input patch of all of my inputs that's coming from the stage box. My outputs are coming from the actual console itself. So that is the cool part. When you're using your stage box, you can still use your local inputs and outputs. That VOG mic I'm showing you guys is coming from the console. That's why I'm tapping that console. That VOG mic right there is about the only input that is not hitting the actual Rio. Is coming local input from the actual console. So that's why you see Dante number 13 is blank, because Dante 13 is not being used. That channel is actually going to be channel 13 on the actual console. So I love using this stage box, the Rio. It allows me to really just basically not having to run a bunch of cables, and I can still use my inputs and outputs on my console. So I'm extending the inputs and outputs on the console. All right. So I'm just showing you guys just the different game. As you can see up top, you see Dante, you see the channels that they're actually coming from the Rio. All right, so that's one thing. I'm actually showing you some EQs as well. We got some dynamics in there on some of those different channels. So, just kind of pay attention to kind of what's going on and how everything is moving for real. Like I said before, it is really, really nice to be able to show you guys this band, because I do a lot of bands, but it's hard to really get, a nice video of mixing bands, because I'm usually at front of house and I'm usually working the whole time. These jazz bands is background music. Once I got a nice, really, really clean sound, like I'm showing you this VOG mic really quickly, that mic that I showed you before, that's the one you see it says input 13. There is no Dante for that, because like I said before, that is actually coming out of the console along with the outputs. But yeah, so I'm getting this footage because I got a great sound and I was able to sit down. But I'm showing you guys my subs and just the EQs of my different outputs. It really, really matters. And this is my mix. Of course, it's my cell phone audio, so it won't be the best, but I want you to hear the levels. I want you to hear how every instrument has the space and how the vocals pop out. We got some reverb, some compression, some EQ, and it sounds amazing. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more live sound content. Refuse to sound ordinary.